right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to knock out today the second half of lesson 615. Yesterday, we chatted a little bit about the K value, which directly connected with our center line, which was vertically shifting our graphs up and down, okay? If it was negative, we shifted down. If it was positive, we shifted up. Now, today, we're going to take a little bit of a different look at the final of our transformations. Hallelujah, they're almost over, all four of them. So now, reminder from yesterday, K represents a vertical shift. I guess I need to write the word shift in there. Vertical shift of the whole graph. Now, the thing that I want you to keep in mind here is, now we have this thing C. It may have been called something before we called H, okay? When we were moving left and right, when we were shifting things around, that's what's called a phase shift or a horizontal shift in trig, okay? If C is added, we're going left. So if we see plus, means go left. If we see minus C, we're going right. And that's been true again when we were doing the whole H thing, when we were moving parabolas and square root functions and all that stuff. It's the same idea here. We got to do the opposite of what we see, of what we think. But here's one thing I need you to take note of, because people get confused by it every time they see it. They go, Hardy, is this B that's out here, is that distributing to the X and to the C? The answer is no, okay? B does not affect C, even if it is outside parentheses, okay? That C will always be the phase shift. So gotta keep that in mind as you get ready to work on these today. But we're gonna make connections with all of your letters and all of your movements and how they all blend together to make this easier when you're trying to graph. So, when we flip over here to the other side, decide what the period and phase shift are. Don't forget left or right. Like when you're talking about a phase shift, you have to say this many left or this many right. I need to know what direction. So here, for instance, all sine and cosine. So all of our periods are basing from 2 pi. So there's my B value. So 2 pi over B. We talked about yesterday, if you're dividing by a fraction, multiply by its reciprocal. My period would be 4 pi. My phase shift, don't just write pi, it's right pi. Remember, it's the opposite. If it's minus, it's right. If it's plus, it's left. So for all of these, again, period, there's my B value. 2 pi over B is pi. The phase shift, it's not, Hardy, is it pi? No, it's that. Left, pi over 2. Okay? So keep rolling down, period. There's my B value. Period does not always have to have pi with it. We saw that yesterday. My phase shift, be careful. One in parentheses. I didn't ask you for the vertical shift. And some of you had asked questions on that from yesterday. If I was asking for that, VS is a way you could ask for the K value, the vertical shift, and it can be on either end. Like that 3, same thing, both the K values. It's just something to keep in mind. And then we got a whole bunch of crazy going on here. Divided by pi over 3. Okay, this one's worthy of a little side work. Remember, we're multiplying by the reciprocal. 2 times 3 is 6. No pi. Pi gone. Phase shift, opposite of what we think. And again, put left 1. Don't put negative 1 or something like that. Just a direction and a number. That's all we need. Okay, so now we get to graph these stinkers. And again, you're going to have different pieces in every time. So here's what I mean. So for number 6, K, well, Hardy, there is none. Like, there's -2, but that's not, that's my A value. There's no plus or minus at either end. Okay, then there's not a vertical shift this time. My B value, I don't see a number in front of X, either in or out of the parentheses. Okay, so my B value is 1. So when I'm dealing, yeah, I'm sitting here. I almost thought I was about to do something silly, but I did not do something silly. So, my amplitude still is positive. It doesn't mean that I'm not multiplying by -2, though. My period is still 2 pi over b, which is just 2 pi. And my phase shift is to the right, pi over 2. Or when I get to it, I'll be adding pi over 2. Okay, so many things to ponder. So everybody does this different. I've got my own way too, so we'll see how we can get rolling here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out these lines. Okay, normally it'd be my period. I slap 2 pi here, but I don't want to do that this time. And here's why. These two things are related. Okay, so if this was going to be my regular period, it's a cosine graph, okay? So I'd go, all right, so we know at this point, at least hopefully we know at this point. We'd start at 0, we'd go to 2 pi, halvesies, middle, 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2. But that's not our period this time, because we're shifting all of these right pi over 2. Okay? So the B value will affect you first. Your phase shift, so these two, will affect this. So we're going to shift these all right too. So every one of these is going right pi over 2, or we're adding pi over 2 to each of these. And if you ever get confused when you're trying to add these pi's and things, you don't have to do that. I mean, you could go to the calculator. Let's say you got confused here. You're like, I don't know what that is. Okay, so you're taking 3 halves, and what are you adding? You're adding pi over 2. You're adding 1/2. Okay, think of it without the pi at the beginning, if that's what's holding you up. And then just add the pi back in at the end. Okay? It's like saying I'm taking 1 plus 1/2 is 3 halves. Okay? 3 halves plus 1/2 is 4 halves. It's the exact same thing down here. It's just we're shifting to the right. So there's my points. So 5 pi over 2. You're like, well, wait a minute, Hardy. I got a different question now. Because you start to look, and I already did this thing that I wish I hadn't of. I'm going to cover it with a Post-it note. You did not see this. You did not. Since we shifted, 0 is not going to be my first point anymore. I'm not putting pi over 2 here, because it's not. That's 0. So pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, 5 pi over 2. And I can extend forever to the left or right, however I want to do this. So that piece is done. And I wish I had written it a little over further, but that's okay. So now I've got to deal with my amplitude. These two always go together. We multiply by A and we add or subtract K. So it's a cosine graph. That we are going to multiply by -2 because we always do the multiplying part first. And if there was a vertical shift, if there was a K value here, now we would add or subtract that. So you're kind of seeing how this goes together. Okay? B and C go together. A and K go together. First one is multiply. Second one is going to be divide. Excuse me, add or subtract. What am I saying? So, I see where all my points are. But be careful. Don't start at 0. That's not where you're starting. Okay? Your center line is the axis. I mean, you could put that in, but you don't need to. You're starting at pi over 2, then to pi, then to 3 pi over 2, then to 2 pi, then to 5 pi over 2. And if I wanted to keep going, I could do 6 pi over 2, which is 3 pi, 7 pi over 2, and keep going and going. It doesn't make any difference. Okay? Maybe hardy. If you did your practice yesterday, I think it'll be a little easier, but we're going to see. Okay, this time we got a K value. So let's try and do this in colors so it's a little easier to see. K value is 1. Okay. My A value, which goes with it, no number directly in front of sign this time. So my amplitude, or my A value, is 1. So those go together. My B value, nothing hanging out in there either. So my period is 2 pi. And my phase shift is right pi over 4, or add pi over 4. So, since we're kind of color coordinated here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say, okay. So here, normally, if my period was 2 pi, halvesies, halvesies. Like at this point, if it's normal like this, I mean, I should be able to whip that out in a hurry. Now, this might get a little more interesting for some of you. I'm adding pi over 4. I'm adding 1/4. So here, okay, pi over 4. 1/2 plus 1/4 is 3/4. Again, you can go to the calculator and do 1/2 plus 1/4, math enter enter if you need to. But I'm going to show you a slick way to start working around this. 1 plus 1/4 is 5/4. Do you notice a pattern developing here? 1, 3, 5. Hardy, I'm just counting up by 2 each time. Well, then keep doing it. Count up by 2. Count up by 2. Now, here's where some of you aren't going to like me a whole lot. And I really don't care. So notice, if you make your first line here pi over 4, okay, I can't make my next one 3 pi over 4 and then 5 pi over 4. Why not? Well, because this is 1 pi over 4 and that's 2. You're like, are you joking me, dude? I'm not. That is something on a quiz that I would ding you partial credit for. So here's what we're going to do. Make your life a little bit easier. So wait, if I skip a line, I can get away with it? Well, because think about it. 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4. I just keep adding 1. 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, 8 pi over 4, 9 pi over 4. So the quick answer to the question is yes. That's how you can avoid it if you don't want to put all 9 lines in. But you need the lines in there. Whether you have these other points in, that's up for discussion. I'll just say that. So I'm good on that front. Now I stick, oops, I forgot to write this in, didn't I? Vertical shift. Up. 1. Okay. So again, when you're doing these, multiplication first, or in the case of period division, addition second. So sine, 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. Amplitude first, 1, nothing moved. That's cool. Everything went up 1, so I'm adding 1. There's my values at the points I have in blue. So you're like, okay, this isn't going to be bad. 0, 1, and 2, I can handle this. So again, not at 0. Don't do it. I'd still draw my center line in. If there's a vertical shift, I'd do it. It's just going to help me not do something dumb. Pi over 4 is where we start. 1. Be careful. Be very, very careful. Hardy, this is why I just wanted to make the 5 lines, because I'm going to forget, and then it's going to be your fault. Your sine graph needs to start at pi over 4 and finish at 9 pi over 4. If you're willing to take the half-point ding and you want to do, 5 straight points, you can, but I'm just warning you, I'm going to ding you a little bit. I'm trying to be honest here. So, again, work it through. Do what you got to remember this stuff. That's what we're going to do. All right. Let's keep playing with them, because the more we play with here, the easier it's going to be when you're doing it in the practice, and you're going to be doing a good job of it. All right. No plus or minus on the outside. So none of this. None of that. A value? Nope. Not even dealing with that. So that's going to be the easiest thing ever. We're going to be at all the 1s and 0s and -1s. So that'll be normal. B value is 2. Period 2 pi over 2, which is pi. Okay, that's not bad. Which way are we going pi over 2? Going left pi over 2, or we're going to be subtracting pi over 2. So this is going to be my part where there's a little more work to do. So my period just got cut in half. So it starts at 0. It ends at pi. In the middle of that is pi over 2. In the middle of 0 and 1/2 is 1/4. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. But then we're subtracting pi over 2 from all of those. So again, your brain, a calculator, 1/4 minus 1/2, math, enter, enter. Is it still a pi period from negative square root, negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2? It sure is. It sure is. Oh, we're going into the negative this time? We are. Can I give you a bit of happy news? At least with the breakdown the way it is, when you're making all your lines, you're not going to have to make extra ones this time. Wait, why am I having to, this time I didn't have to, I don't have to this time. 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4. The pattern's there already. So we don't have to play that game. And here, I don't have to play any games. Cosine. Whoops, positive 1, Hardy. So here, that's easy peasy. 1, -1. So I get it, but remember, where are you starting? You're starting at negative pi over 2. Down, up, up. This time, I know it says only one period. I'm going to keep stretching it, though. Just to prove a point. 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4. The pattern just keeps going. So if let's make this one. So let's say I want to keep going. So just keep following along. And I can keep going and going and going. But I've got, between every single one, 1 pi. 1 pi. And we keep going. This isn't bad stuff, people. If we just keep A and K together and B and C together, life is easy. A, K, B, C. I wish I had something fancy to call it, but I don't. So I won't. Okay, here we go. Last one. Amplitude. Keeping it simple. Hardy, why didn't you put K somewhere this time? You know what? That was really bad of me. So I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to put it right here. K equals 3. Vertical shift. Up 3. Okay. My period. My B value is pi. So 2 pi over pi. Oh, that's always nice. It's just 2. And my phase shift is right 1. I would still suggest when you're just getting used to this, if you have a second color to use the way I am to keep amplitude and vertical shift together, and your B value with your period and your phase shift together, that's going to make this easier. Always try and give out the good advice. Okay, so let's deal with this. So my first thing is my period is going to be 2 after I deal with my B value. So 0, 2, 1's in the middle, 1 half, 2 halves, 3 halves, not 1.5, 2, and then we're just adding 1 to each. Again, do not go to decimals on me. You're just adding 2 over 2 if you're concerned with keeping that straight. Hardy, you're going to make us do all that stuff with the lines again. I'm going to make you add 1 extra line. Because if I did 1, not every one of these is 1. Like there's fractions in the middle. So if you start with a half, you've got your bases covered. Did I go a little further than I needed to? We're about to find out. Well, yeah, I can see I did already, but that's okay. So I get here. I got to deal with my values, though, of sine here. So I'm like, all right. My amplitude's 1, so I didn't really have to do anything fancy. So that's always nice. Up 3. Add 3. There they are. So everything's above the axis this time. And again, stay consistent with your numbering. Don't just go 2, 3, 4. And then I'm like, really? But, so up 3. I'm telling you, get that center line in. If you're ever asked for a center line on an assignment, okay? Let me just jot that down here too. Your center line here would be y equals 3. Okay? These are all related, but they can be worded differently. So please be cautious of that. Besides that, I think we're ready to rock and roll. But remember, we're starting at 1. And we're going from there. So if I wanted to keep going, Hardy, I don't want to keep going. Oh, I'm just going to do it anyway. That's fine. I could just keep going down and back in. I'm just going to do this since we're I'm just showing you things. Or I could go up and come back and do that. And I'm good. So now at this point, you are ready to deal with all the things, which is going to get you all the way up to 11 through 17. And oh, why did I keep talking about going back and forth? Graph at least 1 period in the positive x direction and 1 in the negative x. Oh dear. Oh dear. So once you hit 12, I want to see you go in both directions. Just to see that you can adjust. Okay? And again, all of the answers are on Classroom under Helpful Keys under quiz 8 practice to 6.15. When we get to next week, I will have the rest up, but that's all you need for right now. So do a good job. Shoot answers. Well, that'd be great later, but shoot questions my way. And if we have to, we'll chat again the next time I see you. We'll see you then.